Hey guys, this is Ivan from Reactive Network, and today I'm happy to be here with you because we are kickstarting our Reactive Hackathon. First of all, thank you very much for joining us here with this live stream. And I believe some of you are joining us for the hackathon, and we are pretty happy about that because honestly, sharing our tech and having some people build upon our tech is one of the best things because we are doing that for you, the community. And yeah, we are very happy that people find useful the stuff that we are building. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet today. We don't have full workshop today. We just have a discussion of the hackathon. I'll share the details about the hackathon, like the tracks and all the other stuff for you to comfortably start it. And also we will have Q&A, so you can ask all the questions here. I will be answering all the questions. And yep, let me share my slides and start with that. So yeah, we will be discussing Reactive Hackathon. It was started on Monday and it will go for the next 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, we are closing the submissions and we are evaluating the applications, and then we just distribute the prizes. However, you have 8 weeks to join the hackathon, to build your code, to ask questions, to communicate with other community members and hackathon participants, also to build teams. So yeah, plenty of time, but not too much. So yeah, feel free to join the hackathon and to share all the information about it with your developer and non-developer friends. So today we'll be discussing the following stuff. First of all, we'll discuss the hackathon goals and target audience. Also, I'll shed some light on hackathon tracks, prizes, and judging criteria. Honestly, it's all out there on our Door Hacks page. But yeah, I'll talk about that today so that you will have the possibility to ask questions and we will answer all of them in real time. Also, we'll talk about hackathon events. Mainly, it will be workshops, our own workshops, as well as our joint workshops with our hackathon partners. And also, I'll show you all the materials, like where to start and what to do if you are joining our hackathon. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about goals and target audience. So our main goal is to discover more reactive smart contracts use cases. So obviously we know what we are building our tech for. And also obviously we don't know as much as us plus all the community, because definitely the creative power and the knowledge of you, the community, is enormous. And we want to see what you're up to. We would love to see your ideas on how the reactive smart contracts might be used in the context of DeFi, in the context of gaming, in the context of whatever direction of smart contract development you enjoy the most. So yeah, the first goal is to see what our tech is capable of together with you. The next goal is to get some good code examples. So it's great to see good code and it's great to show it to other people because like obviously the credibility of the project also depends on how easy it is to build upon that tech and how much sense it makes for the developers. So yeah, that's the second goal. The third goal, and I don't think there is any particular order here, but the third goal is to get more active developers. So we'd love you not only to build with us during the hackathon, but also to use our tech in your projects to spread the word if you find that it makes sense. And just to have you as our community members, because as you can see, like we had this bounty program, now we have hackathon, we have a lot of fun stuff coming in the future. Also, the next goal is to improve our tech and docs, because like obviously we're working pretty hard on that, and we are trying to make it as easy to understand and as comprehensive as possible. But obviously, when new people are building upon our tech, they encounter the same problems or sometimes new problems, and they don't have all the background with working with that very tech for like half a year as we do. And it makes sense for us to use all that good feedback to improve what we have built and what we have written. And also, last but not least, we're doing it to have fun together with you, because we love blockchain, we love smart contracts, we love our tech, and we love to see what can be done with that. We enjoy writing code, we enjoy talking to you guys. So I hope you do too, and we'll do our best to make this hackathon also enjoyable for you, not only to provide some prizes, but also to provide some meaningful tech and fun. And yeah, for the target audience, it's pretty simple. Our target audience is Solidity developers, junior and mid-level. Obviously, senior level are also welcome. It just, I think that the main focus will be on junior and mid-level, because that's probably the level on which we will be on which we have our hackathon tracks, tasks, and all the other stuff. And yeah, also blockchain community in general, even people who don't write code, because we have a no-code track, and I will talk about that pretty soon. Yep, and now let's go to Dora hacks. So I'll be sharing this page now. This is the page of our hackathon. You can get there pretty easily from more or less any of our resources, Telegram, Twitter, or from our website. You'll find this page. And so let's take a look at this one and discuss what we have here. So first of all, I wanted to share a few words about our prizes, and like the general prize pool is 50,000. 50,000 USDT will be distributed in prizes and grants. And let's take a look at the particular tracks that we have here. Yep, you can find all the information on the details page, and it includes information about tracks and price distribution. So we'll have an open track, and we'll take a close look at all those tracks in a minute. An open track with prizes of 5,000 USDT for the first place, 2,000 for the second, 1,000 for the third. Pangolin track for with 2,000 for the first place, 1 for the second, and 500 for the third. Template deployer track with 2,000, 1,500. A no-code track with 800, 400, and 200. Also, we'll have 3 bi-weekly challenges, 700 per each. It will have only one winner for each challenge, but obviously those challenges will be simpler and less competitive than bigger tracks. And we'll distribute 35,000 USDT. We'll allocate them and distribute them over time to the best projects, for which, from our point of view, it will make sense to continue the work, continue the development. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to work closer with you with this one as well. So let's take a closer look at those track challenges here. Okay, so the first one is open track, and for the open track, we will be considering more or less any applications or even just smart contract setups that will incorporate reactive smart contracts. Obviously, we are looking only for those that like rely on reactivity, so that they use the reactive smart contracts for the purpose they were built for, which is to react to events on chains and to do the post actions on other chains. Yeah, the criteria for the applications to be valid are as follows. So first of all, it must contain reactive smart contracts and destination smart contracts. I won't be diving into a lot of details on what reactive smart contracts and destination smart contracts are. You can check our workshops on YouTube that we already have, or you can join our technical workshop, which will be in 1 week, in which I'll share all the details on all the terms and how that works. But generally, reactive smart contracts are smart contracts on the reactive network that react to on-chain events, and a destination smart contract is a smart contract, usual Ethereum smart contract on Ethereum or Polygon or Avalanche, on which we do the resulting action, the resulting transaction from the reactive smart contract. So the application must contain those. Also, if it uses its own origin smart contract, which is the one to which we are reacting, it must contain its code as well. Also, it must contain the address of the reactive smart contract deployed by the team and of the origin and destination smart contracts as well. Also, and this is probably the most important part, and we will be reiterating on that one in judging criteria, it must contain a detailed explanation of the problem reactive smart contract solve in that particular use case and why it is more difficult or even impossible to achieve it without them. Because that's actually the part where we differentiate between reactive smart contracts and usual smart contracts. A lot of stuff can be done using different usual Ethereum smart contracts, but we are only looking for the applications, for the use cases that rely on reactive smart contracts uniqueness, which is to react to events and do the post actions. Also, it must contain the step-by-step text description of how this setup works after deploying. And by that, I mean, like, you deploy all the setup and then you show how it works. Like, you react to some transactions on the origin chain and you see some post action on the destination chain. This should be described so that the judges will be able to understand what's happening here and how to evaluate that particular application. Yeah, obviously, this workflow must be run by the team so that we can make sure that it actually works without needing the judges to run it themselves. So it also must include the transaction hashes for every step of the workflow. And also, it must contain, the application must contain a presentation video, not longer than 5 minutes. You can put whatever you want in this video in case you have any front end, like you have an app, you might show it in the video, you might share the demonstration of the app. We haven't included the app, the front end, as a must here because your setup might be actually not a dApp, but just a setup with a reactive smart contract and other smart contract with no front end. But yeah, obviously, if you have a front end, it's a huge plus for the judges because it's much easier to perceive. So yeah, you can show this in your video, or you can show your code and talk about that, or you can prepare some presentation. That's up to you. Be creative. The purpose of that video is to persuade the judges, so they will be taking a look at the code, the documentation, and this video. And then the application will be evaluated based on the following criteria. As I have said before, whether reactive smart contracts solve some unique problem, and important in that case that cannot be solved without them. Also, how well the use case is explained and justified. Like, we are not putting too much stress on the presentation here, so you don't need to go crazy. But like, obviously, the judges will form their opinion based on how good they understand what you have done and why it is important. So make sure to explain it well. And yeah, last but definitely not least, based on code quality, security, and readability. Obviously, we don't expect you to do the security audit, for instance, but yeah, make sure it doesn't contain some simple vulnerabilities. Make sure it's readable, so you apply linters and you name the variables well and you make it understandable. And yeah, make sure that this code is more or less optimal and does what it is intended to do. So yeah, those are in fact general requirements. I have talked about them in the context of the open track, but more or less they apply to the Pangolin track as well. So Pangolin Exchange is a great DAX. It's present on several chains, including Avalanche C chain, and we have added Avalanche C chain support to Reactive Network specifically for you to be able to work with Pangolin. And also, Pangolin is sponsoring this particular track. And for this particular track, you will need to build reactive smart contracts that add new functionality to a DAX. So you can build them upon the Pangolin smart contracts. You can find them on the GitHub, they're available, or using a simplified smart contract setup that you create for the demonstration purposes. Anyway, it will be judged based on how much sense it makes for the DAX. Does it help to get more users? Does it help to improve the user experience for the existing users, or maybe save some money on gas, or maybe something else? So yeah, got creative here, but obviously for this track, you will need to connect your code somehow to the DAX experience. Yeah, and the requirements here are the same, more or less. Only it must be integrated with the DAX. And as I have said, you can use the Pangolin code, or you can build your own DAX mockup. But we need to understand that it is applicable to the DAX, and all the other requirements are the same, more or less. Just make sure to read them carefully, because each and every one of them is there not in vain. We want your application to fulfill each and every one of those criteria. And yeah, the same goes for the video, and the same goes for the judging criteria. Now the third track, yeah, and we have prices here as well, 2,000, 1,000, and 500 for this track. Now we also have the third track, which is template deploy track. Yeah. So template deployer is the application that we came up with, but we haven't developed it because we wanted to give you the chance to create it. So it's more or less described here, and we will be answering all the questions if you have them in the chats, like in Discord and Telegram, and we will make it as clear as you need. But generally, it's an application that allows a user to deploy a reactive smart contract from the browser. So you go there, you connect your wallet, and you deploy a reactive smart contract that tracks something for you. What does it track? It depends on you, because you also expected to create one or several templates of those reactive smart contracts that will be deployed, because we don't expect you to rebuild Remix, which allows editing and deploying arbitrary smart contracts. We only expect you to create an application that will deploy a predefined by you smart contract that will implement some meaningful functionality for the user, so that the user has interest in going to this website, using this application to deploy a reactive smart contract that will help them do something. For instance, if we talk about the examples that we already have in our GitHub, which obviously is not suitable for this one because we've already created it, but this is Uniswap stop order. So a good example might be that a user goes to your web application and deploys a stop order which tracks the price for them and then executes the trade when the price reaches the threshold. Only, as I have said, we've already done that. So you will need to come up with something else. And yep, more or less the same requirements here, and more or less the same judging criteria here. And the fourth track is a no-code track, 800, 400, and 200, because you're not expected to create any code. Also, you're not expected to run this code, debug this code, and provide the transactions. You only expected to create a specification and detailed text description of the use case. So the submissions will be judged based on those descriptions, and that's why the expectations for the quality of the ideas, explanations, and presentations are pretty high for this one. So yeah, you're welcome to come up with any ideas for reactive smart contracts that you think make sense and share us with them in the form of submissions for this no-code track. Just make sure that same as for the previously described tracks, those use cases they are relying on reactive smart contracts uniqueness. They are not offering to do something that can be done with Ethereum, for instance, but they're offering to do something that can only be done with reactive. And yeah, same here. It must contain a detailed text explanation, which can also be referred to as specification. And it must contain a presentation. So we just don't expect you to create a comprehensive technical specification, but it must be a pretty comprehensive business specification so that we understand what should be done and that it actually must make sense from the technical standpoint. And it must contain the presentation video. It might contain slides, narration, or like if you create some mock-up for this app, for the app you might come up with, then you can include it as well, depending on what you find more persuasive. Yep, and since we don't have any code here, the judging criteria are a bit different. So first of all, the main criteria is whether the reactive smart contracts in this case solve an important problem that could not be solved otherwise. Also, how well the use case is explained and justified. So it will be competing with other use cases that will also be justified. So make sure that it relies on reactive smart contracts uniqueness and also on text and video quality. So make sure that you create this text description and this video as well as you want, basically. And also we have an additional thing here, which is bi-weekly challenges. It doesn't have so many prizes. It just have 3 prizes for the first place for each of the 3 challenges. And those prizes are not as big as for the open track, for instance. But the tasks themselves will be also simpler. So as it says here, on the 2nd week, which is a week from now, 4th and 6th weeks of the hackathon, we will present bi-weekly challenges. So we will present a new task on each of those weeks. And you will have 2 weeks to submit the application for this task from the moment it was put on our Door Hacks page. And then the best application for each challenge will get the first prize, the first place prize. And we don't expect it to be as competitive because, like, obviously some people they will start building later. But this is exactly why we're creating these bi-weekly challenges, to make to get things moving from the start, to get some people try stuff. You might practice actually submitting applications. You might practice creating some simpler smart contracts and get prizes for that. So yes, even though these prizes are smaller, don't sleep on those ones. Use this as an opportunity to train for the better application for the bigger prizes. And yes, stay tuned to see when we have those weekly challenges described on the 2nd, 4th, and 6th week. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is our events. So let me go here to details. Yep, key dates. So we've already had 2 workshops. You can take a look at them on YouTube. So I believe those links, they should be working. If not, just go to our YouTube channel. Also, we've already started the hackathon, and basically you can already submit some applications, but I hope you don't do that yet, because obviously you need some time to develop stuff and to ask questions. This is today's workshop, which is the introduction to Reactive Hackathon tracks, judging criteria, and Q&A. In 1 week, we're going to have a workshop on reactive smart contract basics, so where I'll reiterate, because like we have discussed that here basically, but I will dive in some additional details here and in the context of what you can do for the hackathon, like where to start as well. So yeah, in case you check all the text materials and you're still not sure where to start, make sure that you join this hackathon, because I will be diving in more detail here. Then we will have 2 workshops with our partners and 1 workshop about cross-chain functionality. And then we obviously like this is the beginning of October and this is the beginning of November. Obviously we will have more stuff in October as well, and we will let you know about it as well. So we'll add it here. We'll send all the notifications via email, so you will be able to join all the upcoming events. So it will be more of them than just this. Okay, and I believe there are 2 more things that I wanted to share. So one thing is where to start. So to start, you need to register here as a hacker and submit your build. And when you submit, we already have some builds here. When you submit your build, you will be able to add other team members there. So to form teams, create a build, and then invite people to your build. To find teammates in case you don't have them yet, you can go to our communication channels. So you can find teammates here in Telegram or Discord communities. They are not just channels, they're also chats. So yeah, here you can find the teammates, and here you can ask all the questions that you have. So in case you're watching the recording of this video, you can always ask questions in our Telegram or Discord chats, and I will be there answering them. And the last thing is technically where to start. So you can click this link here. We have our boilerplate repository here with a simple example. And yeah, you can just use this code to start and to create your first Reactive smart contract, to try the stuff, and then build more complicated applications on your own. Okay, let me take a look at my checklist to make sure that I've shared. Oh no, I also want to share some information about the judges. So we have a lot of great partners here. You can see the list on the screen. We have judges from our partners, because like for the bounty program, it was just our technical team judging the applications. But for such a big hackathon, we wanted to make it more transparent and to give it more credibility. So we invited a lot of our partners to judge this hackathon. These are all highly qualified guys, and we will share information about which ones of them will be judging which tracks, because obviously not all of them will be taking a look at all the applications. We will distribute the judges between the tracks, and particular judges will be judging particular tracks, and we will share more information about that as well. So we will have some workshops with our partners and some other events, and yeah, we will try to make it as transparent and fun for you as possible. And yep, I believe that's everything I wanted to share. So now let me go back to my slides and to our questions here in the chat. Okay, so we have a good technical question here. I was thinking of building a pharma supply chain in which I'll make a contract, and let's say temperature drops, my front end will listen to it, and let's say mail the respective parties. Advice, please. So I think reactive smart contracts might help with some parts of those of this setup. However, you will need obviously some kind of Oracle to get this temperature information from from the real world to the smart contract. And then since your front end is listening to it, this is also an off-chain part. While reactive smart contracts, they will manage the on-chain part. So I think it's a good place to start, and feel free to ask more questions in the chat. Yeah, but generally, additionally to reactive smart contracts, you will need some kind of oracles and some kind of system to put it out there to off-chain. And if, in case you manage to implement such a system, I think it might be a good application for our hackathon. Yeah, and since you're asking like how to utilize reactive smart contracts in there, basically that's what we're asking you, because as I have shared before, one of the goals of the hackathon is to discover more reactive smart contracts use cases. We have worked hard to come up with those use cases, and we've created a bunch of them, but we also want you to share your creative ideas on how exactly to use reactive smart contracts in those other cases. Okay. The next question from BTC Alchemist is: can a reactive smart contract react to a on-chain events without the user paying a transaction fee? Could you give examples of event-based reactions? Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. So first of all, yes, a reactive smart contract can react to on-chain events without the user paying a transaction fee. But that depends on who you call the user. Because let's say you have a DEX, right, or some lending pool, and you want to do some actions for the user based on some on-chain events, but you don't want the user to pay for it. Like obviously, since it's Ethereum and Polygon and Avalanche transactions, we are paying gas fees there, and someone will be paying for those transactions. It's just whether it's the user or it's someone else. And if you're creating some setup using reactive smart contracts, you have a possibility to prepay those transactions for the user to make sure the user doesn't need to pay for them. And actually, that's what we have discussed in our previous workshop, and that's what we'll be discussing soon, and that's what we have on our docs. So yeah, in case you have any more questions, feel free to take a look there or ask me in the chat. That's a good question. Yeah. And also, could you give examples of event-based reactions? Yep. Those examples are, for instance, what we have in our code examples on our GitHub, or also what we have as the winners of our bounty program. So you can go to actually let me show you. Yep, I need to share this screen here. I need to go to, yep. Let's go to our boilerplate repo here, and let's go to our GitHub in general, right? So you can see reactive smart contract demos here, SRC demos, and you have a bunch of stuff here, which is a basic example which doesn't do anything except for demonstrating the reactive smart contracts. It has two examples for ERC20 and ERC721 tokens, with monitoring 721 ownership or calculating ERC20 turnovers. Also, you have Uniswap history and Uniswap stop order. For instance, the stop order, it monitors sync events on a Uniswap V2 pool, and then it executes the trade when the price reaches the predefined threshold. So the event of interest is a sync event on the Uniswap pool, and the action of interest is reactive smart contract executing the trade on behalf of the user who approved funds for the reactive setup. So this is these are some examples that we've created ourselves, and also let's take at the examples that our beloved bounty program participants created for us, which actually are pretty good, and you can take a look at more detailed descriptions of those on our bounty closing video on our YouTube. But yeah, in 2 words, Here you can see automated prediction market. Here you can see automated funds distribution, also a cross-chain ERC6551, decentralized application with reactive smart contracts, also a governance system, a cross-chain one and an automated one, and also an automated one-step swap, which is also an interesting case. So we asked our bounty participants to implement a reactive smart contract that will monitor the approve event and then do the swap on behalf of the user, so that the user doesn't need to do two transactions, approve and swap. The user just does the approve, and the swap is executed automatically by the reactive smart contracts. So these would be the examples of reacting event-based reactions. That's a good question. Thank you, BTC Alchemist. Okay, hide here. And yeah, also a good question from Drav Sud. Can reactive smart contracts react to Solana smart contracts as well? Not currently. So currently, let me share some more information from our docs here. Origin and destinations chains here. So you can see the list of origins and destinations. For now, it's Ethereum Sepolia, Mainnet, Avalanche C-Chain, Arbitrum One, Manta Network, BNB Smart Chain, Polygon, Proof of Stake, and Couplet Testnet, which is basically a reactive testnet. For the listed ones, as you can see here in Origin tab, we have Origin functionality, which means we can listen to the events from those and react to the events on these chains, right? And also we can send callbacks or resulting transactions to the following, to Ethereum Sepolia testnet, to Avalanche C-Chain, to Manta Network, and to Couplet testnet. So yeah, answering your question, Solana is not there yet. We are considering adding Solana in the future, but currently we don't track events from Solana and we don't send callbacks to Solana. So yeah, thank you for the question. Oh, yeah, I believe this question was not finished, so I'll wait for the community member to finish this one, to type the rest, and I'll answer another question meanwhile. Can we submit multiple projects? Yes, you can submit as many as you want. Moreover, you can submit projects for different tracks, and like the same code, the same application might not win, for instance, the open track, but it might win the DAX track, for instance. Or it, for instance, might not win the template deploy track, but be the third on the open track. So yeah, feel free to have multiple projects. Just make sure that the quality of the projects and of the presentations are competitive. As long as it is, you can do whatever you like. Yep. Also, working solo is yep, it's definitely fine, and in some sense, it's easier than finding teammates. It's just that obviously with teammates, the good ones, you will be able to do more than on your own. But yeah, working solo is completely fine. Yep. The next question from Vagish. Just want to confirm the use of reactive smart contracts. It makes the logic. Yeah, in the previous version of the question, it was async, which makes sense. Like Kafka in Web 2. Unfortunately, I don't remember what Kafka does. Yeah, I'll try to answer this question, giving a bit more detail, so that you will have the understanding rather just yes or no. So the way it works, Reactive Network is a separate EVM network with its own blocks, one block per 7 seconds currently. It monitors the origin networks, the list you have just seen here. And then when there is an event on an origin network, very quickly, technically almost instantly, it triggers the reactive smart contract, and the reactive transaction is executed in the next, the closest in time to us reactive block. And when the reactive transaction is executed on reactive network, it sends a callback to the destination network where it's executed in the next destination network block, just given the fact that we have paid enough fees. So yeah, in that sense, I believe it is async, but I don't cannot confirm whether it's like Kafka or not. Okay, there was a no-code track also in Dorhack's website. Didn't really get that. Also, I couldn't find general chat on Discord. Yeah, let me a no-code track on Dorhack's website. I believe it still is there. Track challenge. Yep, here it is, a no-code track here. And for the Discord channel, I believe it does have. Yeah, sorry, I'm not logged into this browser. Let me check it in my. You might need to go through verification on the Discord channel. Yeah, it's named not general; it's named Dev General. So you might need to go to this one to refer to general questions. Okay. Can I integrate Chainlink CCIP with reactive smart contracts? If this question is whether it's possible technically, I believe it is possible in a sense because like reactive smart contracts, they deal with usual smart contracts, and so does the Chainlink CCIP. And yeah, I believe you can. And if you're talking about the hackathon, yep, you're welcome to use whatever additional tech you need. It won't prevent us from considering your application. And as a matter of fact, currently, that's funny you ask that question, because currently we're working on an article about the differences between Chainlink CCIP, because we are asked about that a lot. How reactive network is different from what Chainlink has done, and we are preparing an article about that. In short, we are quite different, and we are doing a bit different things. So yeah, I see no problem in integrating this in your hackathon application as well. Throw some light on a no-code track. Yeah, I've already tried to do that. So generally, the idea is that you can do the same as an open track, but just you don't need to develop the code. We expect you to come up with some creative ideas on how reactive smart contracts can be used, can improve the existing smart contract workflows in the existing decentralized applications. And we expect you to explain it to us, to the judges, in any form that you prefer. Just make sure that it's clear and it makes sense from the technical standpoint as well. So even though you don't need to actually build those smart contracts, we need to understand what smart contracts did you want to build. Understand that it makes stuff async in a sense. Is it possible only by using reactive network, or can we make stuff without using RSCs? Yep. So to make your application valid, you obviously will not only use reactive smart contracts, but also to make sure that in that particular use case they are needed. So yeah, I don't think it makes sense for you to apply with stuff without using reactive smart contracts, if I understood your question correctly. And if there is an alternative solution to do the same thing, can you point out so that I can find the difference between the existing methods and RSCs to find the best use case for the project? Yeah, so first of all, from my understanding, there's no direct analog to reactive smart contracts on the market. And like that was the main idea actually of us pivoting from our previous product to reactive smart contracts. So we tried to create something that's unique, and I think we've managed to do that. So I don't think there is a direct analog that you can replace it with. And also, like if you create some dApp without reactive smart contracts, as I have said, that won't be eligible for the prizes on the hackathon. So you're expected to create something with RSCs, and yeah, I believe that's my answer. Which reactive network use case has impressed you the most so far, and how did it stand out from other use cases? Yep, I would say this one-step swap use case, it impressed out so much that we even generalized it for the for more use cases, and we generalized it in a way that in some you might not even need to deploy reactive smart contracts, so you just create a pre-deployed setup, and then other people can use it without needing to deploy reactive smart contracts. They can deploy new callback contracts and use your reactive smart contract. You can find this example in our repository here. Let me take a look. It's in our demos, not in a boilerplate repository, which is only created for you to copy it. Yeah, approval magic. You might want to take a look at this one, but we won't be discussing a lot of it today because we don't have time for that, and because we are preparing another workshop for this particular purpose. But yeah, in general, it's the generalization of one-step swap, where with one-step swap, you can automate actions based on the approval events. So in our in the current DAX or other decentralized applications, basically anywhere where you're using tokens, you need to do two actions with your wallet. You need to sign two transactions from your MetaMask, which is the approved transaction and then the actual action, which might be a swap or a loan or anything else. And Reactive makes it possible to reduce it for just one user signed transaction, so that it simplifies the user workflow a lot, which is especially important for the first-time users, which might be pretty confused. Why do they need to sign two transactions? Does it mean they're sending money twice or something? So yeah, I believe that's pretty important, because that's been a problem in DeFi for a long time, and we we just solved it. Yeah. Pretty interesting hackathon. As a newbie, if I get any advanced idea, then I can simplify, submit the prototype. I believe if you have any advanced idea, you should go for a no-code track. If you're a newbie and you're not sure that you can develop it, the smart contracts for it. But honestly, I think if you're a beginner smart contract developer, you can still try to code stuff, because we don't it doesn't apply a super high level of smart contract development understanding. It just implies that you come up with something cool, you code it in a way that it works, and then you explain it in a way that we understand it. So basically, the criteria that we will be judging, that our judges will be judging the applications on, it does not only include code quality and complexity, though it does include code quality and kind does include code complexity. But the most important thing is whether reactive smart contracts solve some important problem there, which other tech cannot. And like, if you go for no code track, you don't need to code that. And if you code it and you manage to just code one part which works, then you can submit it for an open track or a DAX track or a template deploy track. Like only in a case when you have no code or your code doesn't work, you cannot apply for other tracks. But you don't need, like, you might describe the whole idea, and then probably in some cases you might manage to create the code only for the part of it, but it still might be a good application. So yeah, just don't doubt yourself, go for it, and we'll try to judge the thing, and we won't be doing a lot of judging ourselves. We have a lot of judges, and they will be unbiased, and they will try to understand what you created. So yeah, go for it. Will judging criteria also include front end? Only for the template deploy track, it is necessary. So for the template deploy track, you are expected to create a dApp here. And for the DAX track and for the Pangolin track and for the open track, it's not necessary. However, it will definitely be considered. So judging criteria will include this stuff as well. Yeah, just make sure that you don't allocate all your resources on creating front end, because like the main thing for us is smart contracts and reactive smart contracts. And then if you implement a front end on top of that, that's obviously is a huge plus. But that is actually a very huge question, a very good question. And I think we will need to clarify judging criteria a bit. And yeah, we will do it pretty soon, within a week or so. So that by the time you finalize your submissions, you will have a more clear understanding of what to expect. I believe you already should have such an understanding, because we try to describe the criteria well. But yeah, that's a good question, and we will cover that in the text form as well, not only on this workshop live stream. Can you give an example of use case that only can be solved using RSC and not otherwise? Yep, I would say this one-step swap is a good example. Uniswap v2 stop order is a good example of that. And basically all the other stuff that we have in our repositories that I've shared before. Obviously, you cannot use those use cases because we've already invented them. Like, you might build on top of them, you might use them as a basics, but obviously you will need to create something unique on top of them for it to be, it still be a valid submission technically, but obviously other participants who create something unique, they might get a higher score. So make sure that you create something unique to get a higher score by judges. Thank you, sir. All doubts cleared. Yeah, thank you, guys. Great questions. And it's always a pleasure to see people interested in what we're doing, in what we're building, and what we're doing here on live stream. So yeah, it's my pleasure to answer all of your questions. I don't know a lot about the technical aspects of RSCs just yet, but I'm thinking the idea could be to automate recurring or conditional crypto donations to charities. Advice us, please. Conditional, definitely. So you're waiting for some condition to be met on chain, for instance, for the price to reach a certain threshold, or for your loan to reach a liquidation threshold, or for something else. Yep, that's definitely a good use case. And then automate recurring donations. That also can be a thing if you find a way to get time on the blockchain. You might, for instance, get the time from some of the oracles, or even we were thinking about adding time to, like, a time oracle to a reactive network. But yeah, that's definitely also a use case. And if we talk about devices, take a look at our code, try to run it. For instance, the basic demo, the Uniswap demo, they will shed a lot of light for you on how it exactly works, because you can watch all the videos, and you actually can watch all the videos. We try to make them useful, clear, and insightful. So you can also go and watch the videos on our YouTube channel, our live stream with Eat the Blogs or Eat the Blogs video, and it will shed some light on what's happening and what can be done. You can take a look at our docs. We have all the examples there and all the explanations there. And like the best thing, obviously, is to run the code yourself, because after you run the code yourself, the code from the boilerplate repository, but also from this, I should probably put a link there, as a matter of fact, to this one. I will put a link actually to the hackathon page just right after this workstream, to this repository here, so you can run any of those examples. I personally recommend you to start with basic and then to proceed with Uniswap's top order, because those are the easiest to understand. And you'll get a better idea of what's possible and what's not possible. Okay, let me get to another question here. I'm not entirely sure how to build it all yet, but it seems like a cool and impactful use case. Yep, it might be, and it's pretty easy to build. So honestly, one of the good features of reactive smart contracts is that it doesn't need you to get a lot of additional knowledge, just a few tweaks on top of Solidity and EVM. So in case you're familiar with smart contract development, as a matter of fact, you're already familiar with reactive smart contract development. You just need to go a bit through the docs and try our examples, and you'll get the idea. So you will understand how to build it after you take a look at our examples there, and after you try to build it yourself. It's pretty simple, and it should be pretty simple for the use case that you mentioned with conditional donations. Only for in case of conditional donations, obviously you will need to allow some funds for the callback contract to spend on your behalf. But that's obvious. And thank you, BTC Alchemist. And the next question, is there a way to reach out to you post this call for that? Obviously there is a way. Let me show it once again. Communication channels are listed here: Telegram, Discord, and also, like, it's hard to miss, you can find our Telegram and Discord on all the like on our website, in our docs, and everywhere. So just go there to the Telegram or to Discord, ask questions, and I will be answering them, and our team will be answering them. So we will try to make it to make the communication as fast and clear as possible. So it's our pleasure to answer all the questions, not only here on the stream, but also in the chats. And also we will have many more streams, so feel free to join any of them and ask any questions. And thank you, Matthias. Does Reactive Network has a Discord server? Yes, it does. I've just showed where to get the link, and I believe it's even below this video. I think it should be. Okay, it's exactly 1 hour, and it looks like we've run out of questions. Thank you very much, guys, for being with me and with us today. I will wait 1 more minute in case you have any more questions. I will just reiterate on what we've done today, what we've discussed today. We've discussed hackathon goals and target audience, tracks, prizes, judging criteria, hackathon events, and where to start. I believe we've successfully covered all that. Also, we've talked a lot with you about some use cases. Thank you very much for technically substantial questions. It's always my pleasure to see the actual interest, and I'm honest here. And and that's what we've discussed. Okay, no more questions for today. I hope we'll get more questions tomorrow and the day after that and the next day in our chat. We will try to be there all the time and see you on the next stream. And yep, feel free to start building and ask all the questions. I'm thrilled to see your code. Have a good day, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.